Welcome to episode 11 of the MidLegs Podcast. I'm Carl Blalock. That's Maxton Brunke. And Brunke, a little bit of an abbreviated week. Only got 2 games in against the Cardinals, then a 2-1 series win against the Mets.
This keeps happening to us.
What are your vibes on it?
I feel better about this short week than the last one, that's for sure. The uh which game am I? The Saturday game 2 against St. Louis took years off of my life. And
Yep.
I mean years. Like I had actually what's so frustrating about the way this team operates when they get into the hole is that you just know it's coming. You know that they're gonna give something up, something stupid, and then we're gonna have a tie ball game on our hands. What I love about this team at times is that they're resilient and they don't allow it to get to their heads. Um, and they can win games like that. We've won more games down the stretch like that than we have lost. And then obviously there's the big blowout or the big comebacks that we've given up throughout the season. It's not really what I'm talking about. It's more of the ones where they've creeped back in, and then we've managed to put them away in the end. But overall, I think it's probably a good thing we lost 2 games, or excuse me, not lost, but we didn't play 2 games against St. Louis because the way that series was going after the first doubleheader on Saturday, I just wasn't. It didn't look like the boys were in it.
It definitely helped the fact, we had that double header, and then Sunday obviously got rained out after Friday got rained out and pushed the, game 1 of the series to Saturday. It really helped to be able to shore up our bullpen some that we didn't have to pitch on Sunday, especially considering that it was going to be a quick turnaround to begin with because we played at 4 o'clock on Memorial Day for Monday.
Yeah.
So that was pretty beneficial for us. And you know, I I unfortunately have let the last game sour me on this week, and we'll get to that in a second. But we'll start with game 1 on Saturday, which just we jumped out to an early lead. Nathaniel Lowe, an early home run. And Paddock was okay. He wasn't great, but he went 5 innings, 3 runs. Um, Offense just didn't show up. Only 2 hits, and then the bullpen had 5 walks between Phillips and Franco, which just you don't want to see. Actually, I think we sent Phillips down after that game. I believe. I know we sent Franco down. I believe we sent Phillips down and brought up Ferguson. I know Ferguson got brought up. I think Phillips was at reverse move. So
Yeah.
Connor Phillips not with the team anymore. And when you walk 3 people and you have those walk issues, that makes sense why you're not.
It,
Um,
it makes sense, but it's also a little surprising. He does have the highest volume of pitches thrown for anybody in the bullpen this year. Obviously, his use he was getting a lot more. We were getting a lot more usage out of him before the last like 20 games, but it is still a little bit surprising.
it is well, that might be part of it as well. It's kind of to rework his game a
Yeah.
little bit so that when we get later into the season, he's not as figured out as what he is right now. Looking at game 2, it was a 7-6 win for the Reds in 11 innings. And tell you what, as much as I have Jordan Walker on my fantasy baseball team, I'm happy I have him on my fantasy baseball team, and I can't, and that I benefited off of what was a massive day for. He had like 50, 55 fantasy points, 2 home runs on the day, including a 3-run homer that really made that one close. And then had a clutch hit late as well, to tie the game as Santillan again walks. That's going to be the biggest issue for the bullpen is the walks. And Gabe blew a 2-run lead, but one of the biggest things that I think that came out of that game was the trust that I have in Pierce Johnson.
Yeah.
I have
Yep.
not trusted Pierce Johnson all year, if I'm
He
being
went
honest.
2 innings too.
He threw 2 innings, especially the second inning. I don't trust any reliever coming out for 2 innings, especially ones that have had issues so far with length. Pierce
Hmm.
Johnson came out and was nails, and it wasn't an issue the entire time. And he got rewarded with the win after the Reds ended up winning on a fielder's choice because, I don't know, the Cardinals' second baseman couldn't make a throw. We got
Yeah,
lucky on
weird.
that. We got
Yeah.
lucky that entire game. But that was a big win, and then obviously got rained out Sunday. I think the game that really, to me, gave me the most hope for this team was Monday's 7-2 win over the Mets when we just jumped over Nolan McLean.
Yep. I agree with that. It wasn't, it's not more of like how it happened. It's more of like how it looked while it was happening. The team looked so dominant. And maybe it was some sort of Memorial Day boost going into a team going into an away series that you can win as well. Maybe that gave them a little more pep in their step. But I agree with you 100%. It was one of the shining moments of this week for sure. To me personally, I think that second game on Saturday does more for me. Because we did the same exact thing that we did against the Phillies, a week ago, that we talked about last week. That we just can't make it easy for ourselves. We jump out to a 5-1 lead, and then we have to give it up immediately. Walker, as you mentioned, hit that 3-run bomb to take the game from 5-1 to 5-4, and that let him hang around. I think despite how it looks, Chase Petty had a fine day, which is a positive sign.
He's been especially for how much he struggled in AAA this year. When we've had to call him up for spot starts, he's done a very serviceable job. And the same thing with Chris Paddock, where they've done well enough to where it's kept us into these games. They've done what they've needed to do.
I agree with that 100%. And the only other point I want to make about this game before we move on from it, it's again, we talked about this last week too. It's somebody new in that closer spot every time. This time it was Santillan. Santillan gives up 2 runs to tie that game up at 6, and then eventually we went in the 11th on that fielder's choice play, the weirdo fielder's choice play. But yeah, again, Santillan gives up that lead, and then Pierce Johnson comes in to secure it. To me, it doesn't feel like we can trust anybody as that 9th inning closer. But you know what? A win's a win. I'm not going to complain about something that goes our way. It's just unproductive. So.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, you look at the bullpen. This is just going to be a problem the rest of the year, and we're going to have to figure it out unless we trade for somebody. Which I don't even know who'd be on the market if I'm being honest.
I would love to see Caleb Ferguson soon.
He did all right yesterday. He got a few. He made a debut and went 1 1/3. Got out of a little bit of a jam and looked all right. So I mean, maybe that's the guy.
It's a good sign. It's a good sign.
But the thing that really stood out to me in the 7-2 win on Monday was the plate discipline against McLean. Because McLean's got some really good breaking stuff, but the Reds were able to lay off of it. And so he was throwing all these sweepers, all these curveballs, but they were out of the zone, and the Reds recognized them as coming out of the zone, and they didn't swing. And that meant he had to go and throw in the strike zone, and we did that. We jumped on those pitches, and we knocked him out in the 4th inning after he gave up 7 runs.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I actually felt the same exact way about the game on Tuesday as well. I felt like our plate discipline was fantastic. And maybe that just carried over from Monday.
Oh, yeah. The only thing with Tuesday's game, and this definitely rolled into Wednesday's game, was I felt like we even though we did get 7 runs, we left a lot on the table, especially early in that game. I think the 2nd inning, we had the bases loaded, no outs, and we somehow came out with no runs out of that. That's disappointing. You got to be able to, convert those opportunities. And that's something when you look at Wednesday, looking ahead, we left 17 on base. 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position, 17 on base.
It's outrageous.
That is unacceptable. In a 4-2 loss especially. Oh, I felt like I was going to go Frank the Tank last night, Brunke. I really did, because it was ridiculous. It was absolutely ridiculous. You have Devin Williams give you the game on a silver platter. He walks the bases loaded. There's 1 out, and we couldn't get a run. With him still out on the mound, 35 pitches in. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, it made me mad.
Yeah. I mean, I won't lie to you. I turned this game off in the sixth because I have a big day today, and I need to get my beauty sleep. But I knew what was coming. We left the I think it was the fifth inning. We left bases loaded, one out, and we only scored one to take the game to 3-2. I think actually that was the sixth inning.
The sack fly. I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about. Yeah.
yeah, and I think what's most frustrating about that is a lot of the time when we have RISP, we will do the one thing we can't do, and that's pop up to the freaking infield. And it frustrates the hell out of me because I've seen these guys get barreled to worse pitches, and then they get a sweeper that sneaks inside and they pop it up 15 feet in front of them. It's so frustrating. I understand. It's a hard sport, and obviously these pitchers are playing to the situation. But it's just got to be better. It's got to be better with RISP. Did you mention that it was 12? It was 17 left on base, but 12 left on in scoring position.
I did not mention 12 left on scoring position. I did mention the 3 for 15 with runners in scoring position.
It's not okay. It's
No.
not okay. It's really indicative of what's going to lose us games when the bats aren't hot. Or excuse me.
And it's not even like the bats weren't hot. We still had 8 hits. We just didn't get the clutch hit for whatever reason.
Right. I meant when the pitching is worse than it is. Because again, we left 17 men on base and we only lost by 2.
Yeah.
The Mets, by the way, just to get this out of the way, are terrible. That is a bad baseball.
Oh, yes.
Juan Soto is the only player that really looked like he wanted to win any of those games.
He hit like 3 home runs this series. He got Abbott a few times. He got Burns.
Yes, he did. But which is kind of Chase Burns' MO. We gotta be honest here. Well, he's got great strikeout. He's got great K per 9. I would love to know what his home run per 9 is because it's probably that the difference between the two is probably crazy.
Well, and it's the same thing with Abbott, where Abbott, especially first 2 innings, he gave up a few solo home runs, one of them to Soto. And it's like, well, that's kind of to be expected. That's one big knock on him.
His MO.
And that was one of the big things for Lodolo on Monday, to where it wasn't fully because he did give up 6 hits, but he looked the most like he has to his normal self in a while. Quality start, 7 strikeouts. Gave up an earned run, but I mean, that's by far his best outing so far this season for Lodolo.
I was really happy with him. Again, I feel like I say this all the time, but not only did his stats match up, he just looked like he had great stuff. He had a ton of movement on his breaking balls. His fastballs were finding exactly where he wanted them. It just looked like it looked like Chase Burns on a regular day. Like, if I'm being honest, so it's nice to see from Lodolo because his first couple starts, yikes. Got to give him time. And he's back. He seems to be back in his group.
One of the big things that is a little bit concerning, they kind of talked about this, and I'm pulling up the article from Cincinnati Reds on SI about it, was Cowboy kind of talked about how Burns might have a little bit of an innings limit. So far he's got 64 and a thirds innings pitched. They kind of talked about it a little bit with Tito, and he said it's not something super concerning. But again, this is a guy who's still kind of ramping up. He's had, injuries in the past. You don't want to go too far with it, but we can't afford to not have Chase Burns in the rotation.
No. We can't. What does he mean by that? Does he mean per game or in the season overall?
What Brantley said is, quote, "You better get a ticket and watch him now because there's only so many innings that this kid is going to be able to pitch this year. I don't know how the Reds are going to manipulate it as the season goes along."
I do remember that. What makes him say that? There's an actual like there's an actual inning limit that he has, or is it just him
I
saying, "Hey, this
maybe,
guy's injury
maybe
prone"?
it's something like 150, which
There's no way we can't. He can't. It's got to be higher than that. How many games are we through? Are we through a third of the way through the season yet?
we're at game 55, so I mean, like,
Okay, okay, maybe that number is
maybe
has some
150 is
merit.
right, but I mean that's still, I to
We
me,
can't lose him.
unless it is something that is like very apparent, you can't take him out of there at
No.
that point. Like, unless it is like, hey, my shoulder is actually really sore, then maybe yes, you take him out. If he's not complaining about the fatigue of it, then what are we worried about?
Yeah, can't risk that. Not only is he our best pitcher, he's one of the best in the league at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Better than
No.
Paul Skeens.
Yes, better than Paul Skeens. Shout out Jack Demler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I would be shocked if it was a non-injury thing that pulled him down, and or maybe the idea is that he only throws 5 innings from now on. But
Maybe. I mean, he
we
went five
can't
and a
do
third.
that.
I feel like it's much more, and we've seen it to where the moment he gets over 95 pitches, that batter's done and he's out. And
Yeah.
that I understand, especially if, that's an injury thing or whatever. That I understand. There's sometimes I wish they'd let him go a full 8 if he's really cruising. But I understand that a lot more than having a set innings limit that, hey, you can't pass this innings
Yeah.
limit. I'm
Yeah,
not a big fan of that.
but I am okay with them playing conservative for Chase Burns at the moment, just because this is still a very much a playoff contender team. We have not gotten the injury bug bad enough yet for me to feel otherwise. And if we want him by September, October, we're going to need to save that arm a little bit. The issue is we don't have that. We can't afford that that leeway.
Yeah.
We're no louder. We've Williamson, I believe, is coming back soon.
But he's still going to be also on an innings count.
Exactly. Yeah, and Hunter Green will be back soon, but he'll be on some sort of count as well. We just can't afford. Like I understand what he's saying. We just simply cannot afford to lose him at the moment.
We cannot. One big thing with Gino coming back, he came back, I believe, for that Cardinals series. He came back for that.
He was supposed to play Friday, because shout out Columbus, Ohio. He was playing the Columbus Clippers on his rehab assignment here.
And you missed the game. You talked about it last week.
I was so freaking frustrated about this. They played at noon on a Thursday.
Businessman special.
I could have made that, man. But just too late. I get out at 1:30 for my job, so there was just no chance.
Yeah, he got pulled at that point because he goes bring him back down there.
Yeah.
But with him back, we've kind of seen where the offense has taken another jump, and I want to look specifically because I think this is the lineup, the everyday lineup that we're going to see right now, which got 15 hits in Tuesday's game, and it's got Blake Dunn leading off, playing right field. Ellie, batting second, Sal Stewart batting third, Spencer Steer batting fourth, Suarez batting fifth, Dane Myers batting sixth, JJ Bleday batting seventh, Tyler Stevenson batting eighth, and then you got Matt McLean in there as well, batting ninth. Maybe, rework McLean a little bit where, you have McLean out and you shuffle everybody around and add Nathaniel Lowe in as the designated hitter and moves Steer out to the outfield somewhere. But I really like this lineup, and I think it's proved successful. I think that it helps that I feel like we have everyday outfielders for the first time in a long time.
Mm-hmm. You know what's funny about the Wednesday game? Let me make sure I'm right before I say this. Who came back and played in that Wednesday game?
TJ
for the
Friedel.
First time? Yeah.
He only had.
And we lost that game.
Did he have a hit?
No, I don't know. Not that it's necessarily his fault, but all I'm saying is that this guy might be the reason that we lose games. He went 1 for 2.
And then he got pulled. That's the one thing. I'm still not a big
reached on
fan
bunt
of the
too. Like
And we didn't do that as much on Tuesday, which I think, again, that's another reason why we haven't had an everyday outfielder is because we're trying to platoon too much. But Blake Dunn's played himself to where he's got to play every day. I feel like JJ Bleday's played himself to where he has to play every day.
Can't take either of those guys out. No way.
Exactly. And so you just got to find a spot for Lowe. And I think at the moment, that's where Matt McLean might not necessarily be an everyday player anymore. The only other thing with this lineup is, and we've talked about this before, I'm not a big fan of Ellie in the 2-hole. I don't like him batting second. I feel like you can maybe you move JJ Bleday up there or swap Spencer Steer, or even Dane Myers, but I don't like Ellie batting in the 2-hole, and he struggled because we started putting him in the 2-hole last week, and he struggled through the Cardinals series, struggled in Game 1 of the Mets series, kind of found his footing with 2 RBIs, 2 hits in the Tuesday game, but I'm still not sure about it. I feel like I'd rather have him a little bit farther down the order.
I don't necessarily agree. Only because what Ellie offers to the 2-hole isn't always his bat. If he had better plate discipline, then 2-hole would be perfect for him.
That is true.
But he doesn't. So I'm going back and forth in my head here. Yeah, I feel like moving him down as an experiment probably a good idea. It's not like we're short on hitters that would play well in the 2-hole. Yeah, you said it. Steer,
I think you move somebody like Dane Myers up there. You move Dane Myers up there. He's still got that. Yes. He's got that speed as well. He can get the steal, and he's not as prone to strike out.
Yes, I agree 100%. And going back to the everyday outfielders thing, Dane Myers, I felt like has played his way into this team. I'm not 100% sure. It must have just been a rest thing for Dane yesterday. He came into pitching.
I think it was a lefty righty thing and him wanting to kind of give TJ a chance.
Cool.
I think
let's just not do that again.
Yeah.
I might be hating on TJ Friedl a little too much, but I can't, like, every time he's at the plate, he makes me upset in one way or another. And I'm sick of being upset at him. I want him to just be out of the lineup. Dane, I'm also too big of a fan of Dane Myers to like sit here and somehow talk myself into TJ playing more. But I'd rather see Will Benson play over TJ at this point. Like,
yeah,
and he's not playing very well either.
No.
I don't know.
We'll see. And we also got a few guys still in the minor leagues. I mean, Novelli Marte's carrying it up as well.
Arroyo is hitting out of his mind right now. He went 3 for 4 again.
There was a bat yesterday that had
I saw it on Twitter and I
3 home runs. No, not Brett Beatty. No. Louisville bat. Not this is what I get. No. Hector Rodriguez is who it is.
Yes,
another outfielder.
Yes.
3 home runs in a game, went 3 for 4. Maybe that's something. Maybe that's something for the Reds.
I think it could be.
There's a lot. The AAA, there's still quite a few guys down there that can make big contributions if they can make the jump up. That's been the big issue, though. Haven't been able to make the jump up. That's why Novelli Marte is back down there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what can happen there. Before we finish the episode, I have to ask you, because you were watching the game yesterday. You saw this segment. For those who haven't watched the segment, go find it online somewhere.
Oh, my God.
The Mets have this kind of fusion food thing that they do for everywhere. And so for the Red Series, they had a Skyline chili egg roll, and they made Jim Day try it on air, and he did not like it.
I don't know why he didn't. I'm not going to lie. I was watching this. First of all, I'm dying laughing at Cowboy and the boys.
I mean,
I would love it. I think that's right up my alley.
Okay, so here's the thing. I think that if Skyline themselves made that,
great point.
Yes.
Great
I don't think they got it right. I think they just threw chili in there, maybe threw a little bit of cinnamon in the chili.
It wasn't Skyline chili that they put in there?
Well, how are they going to get Skyline chili in New York? I mean, maybe they have the cans. I don't know. I don't think it was fully faithful. One of the big things he talked about was how greasy it was, and I feel like Skyline sometimes is a little greasy, but I feel like it
Got to
wouldn't
be
be
the egg roll part,
that
right?
greasy. And the other thing is the cheese. Like that's one of the big things is the unmelted cheddar cheese that I don't know what they put on it. I don't know what they do to that cheese, but that cheese is fantastic, and that's sorely missing inside the middle of the egg roll.
I can't. I'm changing my mind. Unless it's Skyline chili. They didn't put cheese in it?
No, I think they put cheese in it, but it wasn't like the
It was like melted
cheese. Like it was just
I'm
melted
out.
cheddar cheese in there.
I'm out on it. You're right.
Yeah.
That's dumb. This is dumb. Bad Mets.
I mean, it's a good idea and it's a good
Put Skyline
homage.
chili in it.
It's a good homage.
Yeah, I love
mean,
the
at
idea.
That point,
I love that they do like a little crossover food. That's awesome.
It's cool. It's cool, but I mean, well, we got our
Where'd the egg roll part
Islander,
come from?
Ethan Sargent, who almost went to the game on Tuesday, and I told him, "Hey, you missed it," and he's like, "I never would have eaten that in my life."
I wonder why they decided egg roll. Is there something I'm missing?
Maybe that was just the. I mean, I feel like that would be the thing that you could fit in the most with the chili and have it kind of keep both elements of it.
Probably.
But I don't know. I don't know why specifically like egg roll.
It'd come to a point for me, if I'm making those decisions, where I'd just be like, let's just sell fucking Skyline chili. Like, let's just sell Coney dogs. Like, why are we going through the effort to make a whole new menu item that probably not that many people are going to order when we could just sell Coney dogs?
No, wait a second here. And now here's an idea. You don't have to sell the full Coney, but what you do is you have a Coney dog and you put it in a wonton wrapper, you wrap it around, and you fry it.
Now we're thinking.
See.
Now we're thinking.
That,
and then you can sell that for like $25 because it's going to be
put the cheese on top of it. Yeah,
that's a great idea.
That's what we.
This is why they need to hire us for food related things.
Oh yeah. No. I mean, what? I mean, if they, man, I don't know. I still don't think. I mean, I'm going to try it a little bit. Well, the other thing is, how egg roll was it? Like, did they have cabbage in there?
That I was wondering the same thing. Wrapper? Or was it just the roll with like chili and cheese in it?
I don't know.
Then you're just talking like a hard shell burrito.
That's literally just a hard shell chilito at that point. Yeah. Minus it's probably not actually Skyline.
An empanada. Like, what are we doing? I'm sure they threw some other stuff in it. I will say, one more thing I want to mention about this: the way Jim Day ate that egg roll was fucking vile.
Yeah, no,
he ate it like a burrito, like in the middle. What are you doing? This is how I eat a fucking egg roll.
I don't. Maybe he was worried that like he was gonna get it like everywhere on his like clothes or something like that. Maybe, and then he have to sit the rest of the game with like.
I don't know.
Not
man.
Skyline chili.
I'm gonna judge him for that still.
But I mean, it was what? I mean, Cowboy couldn't get a word out the entire.
He couldn't say a word. I was cracking up at this. Which Reds TV has given us a lot of really good moments like that, especially this season. That I think is my favorite so far.
I think Johnson, as much as some people like give him a lot of flack, I love the excitement that he brings. It's nice that he's actually cheering for the team, unlike certain other broadcasters that have thoughts on San Francisco. There's just not. there's just not.
Oh boy, I wonder who that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not quite for that. What I mean, I enjoy it. I enjoy listening to him, and I think that he's getting a little bit more depth with it. I'd compare him to like Tom McCarthy. That's who I feel like he's kind of like for the Phillies. I've listened to him a little bit with MLB.TV, and he's good. I would compare him to that.
Phillies broadcast is fantastic. Exactly. I wish I could watch more of it.
Exactly.
To be honest, but I don't have MLB TV. I don't have Reds TV. I was telling you earlier in the season that this is my first time owning the actual product instead of just illegally streaming it somewhere. So I've been watching a lot more with commentary of these guys. And you're right. Cowboy is awesome. I love him as a broadcaster. But even in general, like Larkin, not that great, but he's kind of still entertaining to listen to. And he's
Larkin,
probably the worst of the bunch.
yeah, Larkin's definitely the worst of the bunch, but that doesn't say much because he's just too straight toed with it, and he's
Yeah,
very matter of fact with it. And he doesn't get super excited. That's all it is.
that's true. That's true.
But that'll wrap up this episode of the MidLegs Podcast. We'll be back next Friday, although we recorded this one on Thursday. It's fine, but
More games. Let's have more
yeah,
games to talk about, please.
we're gonna have the Braves series, the best National League best Braves. That's gonna be a tough series. So
Yikes.
we'll see what the Reds can do, but that'll be next time on the MidLegs Podcast. Hope you watch then.